Welcome to Esports Connected. I'm your host, Megan Van Petten, and today we have a very special ringmaster as our guest, the one and only Esports Circuit, Jeffrey Weiss.
Jeffrey Weiss. Hey, thanks, Megan. So happy to be here. So excited to be on your show. I've been all year. I've been saying I'm going to get on her podcast. She's a great talker.
I've been told. Well, you look fabulous, and there was some buzz in the green room about your shoes.
Yeah, I got my shoes. I got these. Even my shoes are gold.
Wow.
I got gold shoes, golden pants, golden got rings and rings, watches, wrist, my gold bracelet, golden jacket, pants. I'm not going to show you my underwear.
You never disappoint. So yeah, I mean, it's just always so much fun when I see that you're on an agenda or a calendar or an event list. I always know that I always know that it's going to be an adventure. You're going to be dressed for it. I know you love your fine suits and you like cosplay, and most importantly, you love entertainment, and you're a broadcast engineer, and you're an award-winning STEM. You're awarded for some of your work in STEM.
Yeah, last year was like our first year really in business. We started in 2019, but 2020 was our first year. What a year! But yeah, we laid out a program, and the STEM.org looked at us, and we had to do all the song and dances and all this stuff and paperwork. And the committee went back and said, "These guys have a great program. Let's get." And they gave us the STEM award. We were also spotlighted by Fast Company magazine as one of the innovative companies, up and coming innovative company to look at, and world changing idea from them. And we also got mentioned in with Barron's as next big thing in esports. So
wow, well, congratulations.
Thank
Tell
you.
me a little bit about what your program was awarded for.
Well, I've been involved in STEM education and stuff for many years. I worked with the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. I was on a board member, I was a treasurer, secretary, all this stuff, helping support all of the things that they do for the standards for the motion picture industry. And during those things, we used to have these little network lunches where all the top executives, like the head of production for Warner Brothers and the head of post-production for Disney and all this, would come to these events. We'd get these graduate students and we'd get them together in lunches and we'd sit down and network, and we had some great time. So that was and we've done a lot of work in helping students get jobs and get in and get that. And the layout thing, the way of working out to invite kids, when we go to our esports thing, go to a home college or a town, and we show up and we invite the colleges to be a part of our program, not just come and play and pay us money to play, but actually come be a part of the program, make money being a part of the program, and learning and educating them about how broadcasting works, how production works, how data science works, all these things that are other parts of esports that they don't do. And they're getting some of that in their colleges in classes, but this is in a real physical working environment where they can actually learn and get experience and work in the industry.
Wow, that's great. How long have you been doing this, and what happened with COVID? And congratulations for surviving.
Yes. Well, the key word in any business is the word pivot. Every great company pivoted. And so we started this, in 2020, we had our first event in January, and it was a fabulous event. We were at the NAMM show, the North American Music Merchant Show. We had 1,000 people play in our tournaments. And we had many more than that come by and look and see what we're doing and experience and learn about esports. And then we were part of the DreamHack conference in February. That was exciting. They were happy to see us. We were a big part of that. We had a broadcast center and some other things we did there. And we were going around there doing media stuff, and it was great. And then we had 5 events scheduled last year. And of course, The last event was the end of March, and the end of March cut us off. And so we told everybody we were sorry. We'll be back hopefully next year. But we pivoted the company, and we started to work with schools to help them build out their gaming centers. And that's something I want to talk more about in this conversation, because I think we've got an idea. We've got some really creative ideas of how schools can really game change from what they're doing now to what they could do in the future.
Well, let's hear about it.
Well, so nowadays, the way most schools work is they have like a game center, and they have a bunch of computers sitting on desks next to a kid, and that is all kinds of problems. First of all, if a computer breaks down, it can take up to an hour or so to replace the computer. Expensive, $5,000 computer sitting next to a kid is a dangerous thing. We've had some kids who have loaded up all kinds of bad stuff on these computers, and malware and other stuff that I don't want to mention online that was really bad. And so it's really a risk. And then people could steal stuff, people could vandalize stuff. Kids get upset because they got shot in the head, they bang the computer. Next thing you know, you have a $4,000 paperweight, stuff like that. So what we do is we have things where we do distance-based KVM systems, where we actually take the computers and put them in the data center of the school or in a rack in the game center. That way the school can just hit, if they need a new computer, they can just hit 3 keys and they got a new computer. And they can move around the computers very easily. If they want to go to the cafeteria or they want to go to the stadium, they just bring a keyboard, mouse, and monitor, and the computer stays where it is, and they just plug it into the network, and they got their computer all set. So that's kind of one thing. Also, we're working with virtualized computers, data centers, creating computers, a virtual computer, so you don't actually have to have a computer. You just pay a monthly rent, and you rent systems from a data center. We're working with schools to help build that kind of infrastructure. And what we think is the next big thing in esports, in collegiate esports, is arenas. Our friends down in Florida has a company called Full Sail University. Incredible people. Josh over there is a good friend of mine. And the thing about them is they built this arena, kind of like a real arena. It has round stadium seating where people can come in and see and watch it, video walls and all this stuff. And I think that's going to be the next big thing in esports, because you got all these big schools and they're competing to try to get the kids to come to their school. You go to, Harrisburg University, there's 28 full run scholarships every year because they're trying to attract their best esports players to come to their school. Well, what attracts kids, if you're a football player, what attracts you to go to Texas A&M over some other school in New York? Well, it's the big Texas A&M stadium that attracts those kids. So I think a lot of schools are going to start really building out real arenas like the Full Sail people and some other people who have done stuff. And I think that's going to be the next step in the esports. And we're helping schools do that. We've done a lot of that, and we're going to do a lot more.
So you're doing an incredible amount of, I would say, consulting then.
Yeah.
For the hardware solution, the data centers.
I mean, I've been a broadcast engineer for over 30 years. I've built over 250 TV stations. I've built hundreds of production and post facilities. I've built some of the esports arenas out there. So me and my team have vast amounts of experience in this industry. And so that's what we kind of pivoted during the pandemic. And we're still doing that today. And we're working with a lot of schools to do that.
Well, yeah. So the thing is, Jeff, here's the thing. So you're an engineer.
Yes.
You're a really smart guy. So tell me about tell me, how did the Circus branding come about? You don't look like the average engineer. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this. I'm letting it out of the bag.
Most of my engineers wear Hawaiian shirts and pocket protectors. No, I don't, because I'm not your normal engineer. I have been a showman all my life. When I was a little kid, my mom used to take me out to the Hollywood Bowl. I used to dance and sing at the Hollywood Bowl while people were waiting for nickels and dimes. I've always been a showman. I can't play an instrument. And you don't want to hear me sing, but I can definitely put on a show. And I've always loved the magic and the wonder that the circus. I remember as a child and even as an adult bringing the children that I've mentored. I'm part of the Big Brother program. and the light and the magic that's in someone's eyes when they go to this circus act and go to the circus and experience what's under the big top is just magical. And I really wanted to bring that out, and we wanted to do it in a way that went to circus 2.0, you know. So we bring all the great things of the circus and fill them up with all the great things that people like today, like esports, robotics, virtual reality, you know, and all the experiences that come across with that.
I don't know if there's a lot of circuses anymore. I mean,
well, there are. They've just changed what they do. There's still a lot of circuses. Most of them are acrobatic people. The trapeze is still there and stuff like that. So you've got all the acrobats. There's one that does these ones with horses. That's really great. And but most of it is like the acrobatic stuff, or you get like the Shin Yun, which is technically a circus, and the Cirque du Soleil, which is a wonderful circus group that does acrobatics and incredible clowns and great things as what they technically are. Still, they are a circus.
Sure. And that, I guess what I'm referring to is when I was growing up, there would be literally a circus that came to town. Exactly. And it would be like an old, like, let's just say like an old Kmart or something parking lot. And overnight, you know, you would see the trucks coming in and the circus starting to get set up, and the evolution of seeing the circus come to life, and then the lights. And I just don't see that anymore. I'm in Chicago, so I'm in downtown, so I'm not sure if they do that anymore in the burbs.
Well, you just wait until May of next year. We're going to bring the circus to South Chicago. We're coming to South Chicago, the Roma Sports Center in South Chicago, and I forget the name of the city, but it's South Chicago, Roma Sports Center in mid-May, and we're gonna have a whole thing with our trucks, and we're gonna parade down parade down 50. Maybe we'll put a parade down 57. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I can feel the experience from you already, and your passion and your vision. It's just wonderful. And you're a very, very generous, brilliant man. And there's no question. How do you get your inspiration? Because you're really stepping onto the court here, out of the box. You know, you're always just a joy and just a bustling energy. So what keeps you going? What keeps you grounded? What keeps you in balance?
Well, strong family. My mother was a big inspiration in my life. And in the past, my family and I have found great inspiration in a woman called Eleanor Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was a big inspiration to my grandmother. Took me to the Roosevelt Memorial when I was just 10 years old. And
that's in Illinois, isn't it?
No, it's in Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a Roosevelt Memorial in Washington. There may one be in Illinois where
I think she was born here.
I think that's where the library is, maybe.
Oh, that's right.
That's where the library is. But in Washington, D.C., there is a Roosevelt Memorial with Mr. Roosevelt and a bust of Mrs. Roosevelt, Eleanor. And under her statue was written the words, "When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die. When you cease to make a contribution, you begin to die." And those words resonated throughout my life. And whatever I do, I've got to make a contribution. I've got to give back. I can make money doing anything, but I have to, whatever I do has to be good, has to do good and be good in order for me to really want to do it. And so that's what I did, whether it's with the businesses that I've run and successfully had, whether it's in my philanthropic and volunteer aspects, working with the Red Cross, Habitat for Humanity. This year I spent a lot of time volunteering at food banks and being part of the Big Brothers. I've mentored 5 young men to manhood. Whatever I do, whether it's volunteering in the industry, I'm on the board of the Esports Trade Association, a wonderful part of I love being a part of that and all the great people that are part of it. And being a part of organizations, it's important that being part of organizations in your industry, because you can't just take. You've got to give. You've got to give back to people and organizations that make this industry better.
I agree 100%. And just, showing up dressed is, right there exemplifies your generosity. And, it's really, to me, I receive it as a gift. Like every time I see you, it's so exciting. I've never seen you in the same thing twice.
I have a few outfits. I have a bunch of hats here too.
I see.
Bowlers.
That's amazing.
I have this circus hat here.
Wow.
So
I'm afraid to ask, but I'm guessing you have more closets than me.
Yeah, I'm like Melda Marcos is my. If Melda Marcos wasn't a horrible person, she'd be my model.
Wow. Well, it's just been great, having you on the show. I would love to talk to you a little bit about why you joined the organization.
Yeah.
And, how it's going for you. I know, we're mid-year after COVID. So I know you have some things in the fire, but I'd love to learn, how we got so fortunate to have you join.
Well, we got so fortunate because this wonderful woman reached out to me at one point and said, Jeff, come be a part of our family. And I looked into her eyes over Zoom and said, I want to be a part of your family. And, I think my favorite thing with you guys is your coffee, your members' coffee things. Those are really good. Everybody gets a chance to really network, and everyone gets a chance to really experience each other in a really comfortable. You guys make it real comfortable.
Oh, that's so exciting to hear you say that, because I remember when we had the idea to do the coffees, and it was when we canceled our first conference here in Chicago in March. It was our launch, and we were so sad because it was COVID.
Yeah.
And we made it a virtual conference. And when we did the survey, people said they loved the coffee. And it was just like so cool. All we did was have coffee. So I said, why don't we just do it once a month? And I remember people kind of looked at me like, And I said, you know what? I don't care if only one person comes once a month to have coffee together. Let's just do it. Absolutely. And it's one of, I can't believe you said that, because it's literally one of my favorite things about the entire association.
I know. And there's a lot of things about the association. You log in, and there's all these resources, or you want insurance, or you want to get consulting help, or you want this or that. There's so many resources in the portal. When you log in as a member, a lot of things that you see in that portal is really helpful and really supportive.
Oh my gosh, I love the services. One of the things that I think is like a secret, and we need to tell it more, is, I don't know if you even realize this, but every month, Roger Payne of YouGov and his committee, the Research and Data Committee, they go through all the research that's put out on a monthly basis in the world, and add it to our library that's signed, sealed, and approved by the whole team.
Yeah.
So when you log into our research you have the whole history of the greatest research that, they put their stamp on.
Yeah.
And
I've used some of it. I've been using a lot of my I took some of that off and put on my marketing in the marketing that we're doing.
Oh, that's right.
For the events that we're doing. I mean, we're getting ready to do one in November, 1 October, 1 in November. And so we're out there, getting people and stuff like that. So we're definitely, I definitely use, all the tools that you guys have in there. And then, the only thing that's, I think, better than really the breakfast is the incredible people. The friendships that I've developed, with Rick Starr and with all the other people that I've met at these, through your group. The networking is worth 3 or 4 times what I paid.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to even I guess, I mean, you would definitely understand, like, how do we call this work? I don't punch in, I don't punch out, but I feel like I don't work an hour a day, but it's like ingrained in my whole life.
There are certain things I tell you. One thing is I never want to go to work and I never want a customer.
Yes.
I will never have a customer. The day I have a customer is the day I turn away. I only have clients.
Yes.
You know, Best Buy has customers. People walk into Best Buy, they buy a mouse, they go home. Best Buy doesn't know you, doesn't care about you, doesn't have a relationship with you, nothing. I want everyone who walks through my circus tent, every student who plays on my stage, every person who comes through, who I talk to at the networking events through the trade association or other places. I want that to be a relationship. I want to have friendships, and I want to create, partnerships, but I don't want to have customers. That's not that's not my business. And I don't want to have, I love the camaraderie and the power that comes through that.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that, because how I fell in love with the membership model was when I worked at Reed Elsevier, which was a publishing company. And we had 3 tiers. We had customers, clients, and members.
Yeah.
And that's when I fell in love with the membership model, because it's taking customer to a whole nother level, which Absolutely. Is family. And we had 21 magazines under one roof that I worked in. And one magazine had a membership model. And I fell in love with it. And members were even like, it was just one step up, because they were literally paying to be there, which meant they were committed to the community. So, just understanding that nuance of a relationship is one of the reasons why you're here. And when people call me and they're like, what do you guys do? I just get so excited to explain to them what community and being part of a community is all about. And for some people, it's a completely new experience, Jeff. Yeah. And they just can't even wrap their head around it. And, it's been really, I don't mean to make this whole, show about the Esports Trade Association by any means, but having that really small monthly fee has really helped, because people come in and check it out and they don't leave.
Well, if you look at anything, if you look at even the successful streamers, you look at successful people, everybody, the successful ones, reach out to their people who subscribe and really give them membership benefits. People who treat their subscribers like a number don't end up successful. And it's, because people want to feel loved, they want to feel cared for. And when you create an organization like the Trade Association, and I don't mind talking about it a lot because it is important. And there are other organizations that do the same, that do other things, that do similar things too. I find a lot of camaraderie in the Esports Awards organization too. And there's a couple others. But when you have an organization like the Esports Trade Association, and you guys treat your members like more than just somebody who pays a monthly due, and you really go out and strive out to find out how you can serve that person, that's what separates the difference between organizations that will be successful in the long run and those who will just go along the way and may not survive, and and because they don't, people do respect it,
and we can really feel like I remember growing up, my mom used to say, don't lie. People know. She was just so basic. She was like, just tell the truth. People can feel, just be you, just be straight, just be authentic, just say what you want. And that's been a discipline of mine, just keeping my heart right and my head right and my body right. It takes something. I mean, during COVID, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Even here in Chicago, our gym was closed. I mean, we had to really get creative to sometimes, like, we weren't even allowed to walk. our lakefront was closed.
Yeah.
We couldn't even, like, here in Chicago, it was rough. I spent a lot of time going up our stair and down our staircase. We have 20 flights. I'm 20 flights up.
Wow.
You know, just to, stay healthy. And, you know, what a testament our society has all made and come together through such a time. And I'm so looking forward to your circus spreading through our nation.
Yeah, I want to franchise this thing out eventually and have it all over the world and stuff like that. So, and we're gonna, and hopefully next year, we're actually planning on a big thing next year. I'm so excited about it because it this came up, and we've got these 4 Loche Libre wrestlers who want to bring us down to Mexico and do a big giant esports event in Mexico City. And so we're going to be talking with the city mayor of Mexico and all that stuff, and we're going to hopefully do a big giant event there, which will launch us into the international esports event company. But yeah, so it's going to be great. We're going to do really wonderful things, and I'm so excited about, I know you don't want to talk to it too much, but I'm really excited about the conference that's coming up later this year.
Yes, so are we. I'm. It's so great to have you on the committee helping us. I hope that well, you're definitely coming, right? It's September
Absolutely,
12th through 15th.
Absolutely, I'll be there. I mean, it's so important. I mentioned to you, we were talking before the meeting. I said, one of the things that I want to talk about is how important it is, these in-person meetings. People who say, oh, I may not go back to, I've been doing virtual conferences and I may not go back to personal. There is something so genuine and so more powerful about being right in front of somebody and negotiating and talking business and doing all that stuff. And places like the Esports Trade Association, the Esports Business Summit, all these different conferences, they do great things by having people in person.
That's
and I know it's and I know it's an expense. You get the hotel, you get the flight, and you get the food and all that stuff. But it is worth it. I have built so many lasting relationships and made so much more money when I talk to people in person. We've done booths at trade shows before, and having someone come by your booth and really connect with you and all that stuff, and you sit down and talk about things, it's so much better. And like you said, at the convention you had the coffees. Just the coffees or having breakfast together, it's just so much better than a Zoom thing. First of all, not that many people know how to Zoom correctly. Most people are Zooming with bad cameras. They have bad lighting. They're doing. They have their cameras going. They're like. Wow,
you are fancy.
They're like. So they're like making the cameras go halfway face and stuff like that. You got to position yourself so that you so that you're centered in the camera. You're not too much headroom. All these things. People don't do that. People just get in front of a camera and okay, and they're the t-shirts, the dirty t-shirts, and they're this and that. And it's just, dude, you want to be a business person. Dress nicely. Comb your hair, brush your teeth, wear clothes.
The basics. I will never forget the first time that we had our meeting and how quickly you followed up with me. And in your signature, you had the most impressive pitch I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about how you did that. I mean, everything you do, you really dot the I's and cross the T's, and it's really well done.
Yeah, we put a video. I put a video. We actually have 2 video pitches on my signature: my 90-second investor pitch and my 3-minute video explainer. And I used to have a company. Actually, I still have a company with my partner, who's my partner in the esports circus. But we used to have a company called LaunchNet. And what we did is we used to, for startup companies, we used to create video pitch decks for them so that they can post them online in their, either in their Indigo programs or in, on investor portal sites and stuff like that. If you're giving a pitch to investors, you want to do your PowerPoint standard thing, because that's what they want to see. They want to see a PowerPoint. That's what the investors want to see. But when you leave the investor and they've got that PowerPoint and they don't got you to explain it, a lot of times these PowerPoints lose their power because they're not really explained well. But when you have a video explainer that's produced correctly by professional production people and professional equipment, and has a story to tell, engages it, and is perfectly timed, that makes all the difference in the world. And I've seen a lot of companies get funded because they have that perfect video pitch, and that we include that on all it's in part of my signature.
Yeah, it's really well done. And I spend a lot of time with members, and I think you've been part of some of these conversations, that we do the elevator pitch at our conference, and we did it virtually, and we'll be doing it again here in September live. And it's really vital to be able to pitch your business in 90 seconds. And the video can be maybe overwhelming for people to take on, even the 90-second pitch, and getting it down. So are you still offering that service?
We still do. We still offer the LaunchNet service, and we still do that. We had to pull it back because the production studio had to shut down for a while because we couldn't, with COVID restrictions, we couldn't have people in our production studio. So it was, but we launched that down. We've done a couple of pitches for some companies recently. And we're starting that up out. But you gotta, when people do pitches, a lot of times, the best person to pitch a video is not necessarily the person who's running the company. The people, it's hard for some people to realize that the best person to pitch the company may not be the person who started the company, because he may be the most best engineer and talk engineering talk, but he's not a trained sales. He's not trained how to sell his idea.
Right.
Or you get people and I've gone to in-person investor pitches, and the guy's like, yeah, he's looking at his shoes. He's looking at his shoes. He's not looking at the people talking, or he's not answering the questions properly. When you have a properly produced video pitch, and it's answering the questions the investor people want to know, is how are you going to make money? What's your exit strategy? Who are your competition? What do you do differently than everything? How much, when am I going to get my money back? There's really specific questions. And my partner, Don Montoya, who's an accredited angel investor, who's had 6 successful exits of companies, brought a bunch of companies to IPO, including a company called HireCar, that's a great company, and different companies like that. He knows the marketing and all the technical stuff that an investor wants to know. He's an expert at that. And then I'm an expert at the production part and capturing the video and the audio and all that stuff. And we have script writers, and we have a whole team that does it all for you. And it's really worth it.
Yeah. And I think, where I find it fascinating, I just love people's brands. Your brand is clearly defined, clearly. And, just being and discovering and communicating your brand, that is a journey in itself. So it's like, there's that development of your business plan, your one pager, the development of your pitch, your logo, your branding, your vision, your mission. All that is so fun and fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And that is like why this podcast part of it came to fruition, because I was like, I have to share these stories with members, with the world, with whoever wants to hear it. Because it's so interesting to me, and other people I hope find it interesting, because I sure do. And what a great resource that you offer. Are you by chance in our buyer's guide as a consultant? Because I know that people are going to be asking me about this pitch, like it's coming. And it's,
I think it definitely, I think we should, I don't know if we're in it for that. I know we're in it for the esports circuits. I don't think I put it for the LaunchNet because we just started getting started on this, on relaunching the LaunchNet company that we started but several years ago. My partner and I started several years ago when we saw this problem with people not being able to really pitch correctly to investors. So I would love, I probably should add it. Talk to my partner.
Yeah. So, well, one thing you could do is you can put your name in the buyer's guide as a consultant.
Yeah.
And when people go to the consultant listing, which is just like the yellow pages of Esports, they'll go, oh, I wonder what, Jeff is consulting about. And then, you can write a little something as to what you're consulting about. Yeah. Because this is something that I know that there's a demand for. Even the coaching and the conversation and the practicing of the pitch. I mean, it's definitely an area. And I think like you graduate when you do your 90-second pitch. Didn't we do a whole coffee chat about this?
We didn't talk about this. We did talk about the investor pitching and stuff like that. We did talk about that. It wasn't on like making any video pitch. I don't think so, but yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to virtual meetings, the best thing at Esports Trade Association, in my opinion, by far is our coffees. You nailed it. My favorite part of any conference I've ever done is the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
It is so exciting. And I don't know if you're part of that planning or you're going to be a pitcher, but I've seen hundreds of people pitch. I've seen people get funded. It's been a lot of fun. Mark Cuban has been to conferences that we've led with elevator pitches, bought 3 companies while he stopped by.
Wow.
The neat part is we don't have a lot of rules for our pitch. It's 90 seconds, no video, no PowerPoint, tell your story in 90 seconds. And who wins, the audience judges, is always a surprise for me too. You never know. You just don't.
Yes, I agree. It's always surprising because you think, oh, this guy has this idea, and that guy. But sometimes the winners really surprise you. They come out from left field and they have this idea. And but to me, the ones that can do it are the ones that really nail down their pitch and look at what the investors want to hear, not what you want to tell.
That's true.
I'll tell you, this is the key. Many people get out there and talk about the features of their program. An investor doesn't care anything about the features. If I'm an investor, I don't care anything about the features. All I want to know is what's the value proposition. If you talk about features, my product can do this, my product can do that, there's 1,000 products that can do that. If your product is the only one that does this, then I don't want to invest in it because there's no market for it. So there's already 50 other people that do the same thing that you do. But when you talk about the value proposition, that is what gets investors excited. So come out, the one that gets out there and articulates the value proposition of their IP, of their system, whatever it is, that's the one that's going to get that investor excited and have them funded.
I mean, you are spot on. And that is the bullseye to winning. And here's what I tell everyone. If you pitch, you will win. Hard work and good luck go hand in hand. Getting up there, getting on the stage, and just getting on court. Get in the game. Get off the bleachers.
You miss 100% of the free throws you don't take, right?
That's right. And honestly, the winner does surprise me almost always. But it's everybody wins when they pitch, in my opinion.
Because even if you learn what you did, what you can do better next time, that's still winning.
Right.
Edison said, we all know Edison said, I never failed. I learned 1,000 ways not to do it the wrong way. Well, that's the same way. When you get out there and you pitch and you feel how the audience is reacting and you hear back from the investors, that's it. I would say another thing that I see a lot of pitchers do when they get out there, they argue with the investor comes back and makes a comment, and they go, no, I didn't do that. And tries to justify themselves. Don't do that. Don't do that. Say, thank you so much, sir. It was an incredible idea. I'm going to take that and I'm going to implement it in my next pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the whole thing is a journey and experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's really nice that that we were able to discuss that you have this wonderful part of one of your companies that can help people, get to this, because it's certainly a passion of mine to help put legs to people's visions.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. So any parting advice? I mean, it's just always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, I can say I'm so happy to be a part of the organization and to make a contribution back to it as I can, as part of the committee to help this create the conference that we're going to have. And it's going to be a fabulous conference. And I recommend everybody, it's not hugely expensive to come to this thing, and it'll pay off in dividends when you do this. And just I'll tell anyone out there, if you want to come to one of our coffee things, contact me, jeff@esportscircus.com. Just email me, jeff@esportscircus.com, and don't tell Megan, but I'm going to bring it as my guest.
We encourage it.
I know. I'm joking.
Oh yeah, we want everybody's invited.
Email me. I'll bring you as my guest to one of our members' luncheon, one of members' meetups, and the members' coffees. You come, you'll fall in love with Megan as I did. I mean, I love this woman. We had a great talk the other day. We shared memories of our families. It was incredible. And I'm going to tell you all, if you want to be a part of the Esports Circus, you go to esportscircus.com, see all the things that we're doing. We'll be in North Carolina in October. We'll be in Garden Grove, California in November. Next year, we're going to be in South Chicago in May. We'll be July 4th. We'll be in Daytona, Florida. Hopefully we'll be down in Mexico next year as well. We're planning, and one of the things that we're planning to do, if people want to be a part of it, is to really change the way broadcasting is done for esports. Right now, there are 913 million YouTube channels, and there are 94 million Twitch channels out there. And I'm not going to compete with those guys. Those guys do a great job doing what they're doing. But there's almost nothing being produced in the broadcast world. If you go to HBO or Netflix or Amazon, type esports, you see a few documentaries. You see maybe some movies that have esports as a little tiny part of it. The biggest esports movie was, Ready Player One type of thing, or, but there's really no esports movies out there or TV shows. There's none TV shows. And we're going to be producing a lot. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, be a part of the magic that we're doing, we're hiring people, we're going to get great stuff. Just contact us, jeff@esportscircus.com. Go to esportscircus.com and let's talk.
What a great name too, esportscircus.com. I mean, good for you for getting that real estate. I know, really. Well, it's been a pleasure. My favorite ringmaster in the whole world, Jeffrey Weiss. Thank you for joining us. I'm your humble host, Megan Van Petten. Another great episode of Esports Connected. We'll see you all next time.
Bye, everybody.